Today, I'm going to be talking about different ready positions. You guys might have heard this from a lot of tactical videos before. So low ready, high ready, low port, high port, combat low ready, which is something kind of interesting. Oftentimes in airsoft games, you'll probably see people behind cover, or you'll be behind cover and you're not really sure what to do with your gun. It's always a good idea to have this ready to shoot. Unless you have like crazy arm endurance, you're not going to be able to hold the gun out like this for defending an objective for like 15 minutes at a time. It's possible, but not ideal. So what you want to do is you want to have your gun ready. So I'm just going to use this wall over here at this beautiful store as an example. What you don't want to do is you don't want to face your back towards the cover like this. Pretty obvious. You also don't want to be doing one of these where you're kind of like, I'm sure you guys have all seen that. A great way to get started in terms of getting your gun ready is to practice these positions. So the first one would be the low ready, which is the most simple one, which is basically you have your gun down and you bring it up and you fire. The gun's dry right now, there's no ammo inside, as you can see, but I might dry fire with it just to prove a point. So the low ready, you want your gun kind of resting in the pocket of where you rest your stock, kind of between your chest muscle and your shoulder. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna bring the gun up like this and you're gonna shoot. And you notice that I try not to bring my head super down. You kind of just want to bring the gun up. And then you should have a perfect line of sight to save you time. Also, I know you guys might have caught this in my last video and I got called out for it. This isn't a low ready, like just flexing into it. A low ready is often quite a bit lower, so you have time to observe your surroundings if there's guys coming. So if you're behind some sort of cover, you can be in a low ready position, just looking around, making sure that you can see over your gun and that you can see what's coming. So we're just gonna do a really quick snap. So ready, up, that. So what you wanna do is you wanna see your sight picture as soon as you bring the gun up, and then fire as soon as you're ready to fire. Try that again. The low ready is often considered like one of the fastest, and it's really easy because your gun doesn't need to break your body. The next two are going to be a little bit different because they involve breaking the gun over your shoulder or in the pocket of your shoulder. And that's called the high ready and the combat low ready. So the high ready is another one. It's not often as used as the low ready because it's more used for when you're going into tight spaces and we need to go right against cover. So don't go against cover like this, guys. Can't really bring your gun up. If you need to get really behind cover, the high ready is a great way to do it. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do this right here. So the high ready, you have to understand that this is a three-dimensional object. It's not attached to your shoulder at all times. So sometimes you'll see people doing high readies like this, and they bring the gun down like this. That's not a high ready. I don't really know what that is. But a high ready involves breaking the gun from your shoulder, tucking the gun in the pocket of your shoulder and your armpit over here, and having the muzzle of the gun roughly around where the front sight or your optic would be. So you notice when I get ready to shoot from a high ready, I'm not bringing the gun down like this, I'm punching the gun out, and if you notice the translation of this and my optic, it's moving along a single plane, like that. So we're gonna try that. And one more time. So this is really great for if you're moving behind somebody and you don't want to flag them, so you can avoid shooting them in the back or something like that if you really need to get close to cover. And it's also really great for practicing manipulation. So sometimes people call this a workspace by bringing it in. And from here I can look at my gun, I can see if there's anything wrong, if any wires are missing. And of course I can perform a reload or something like that because it's really stable when it's tucked inside like this. Now, the high ready does have a bit more practice. You need to kind of get used to finding your sight picture really fast with it. But it also kind of really tightens the center of gravity of where your gun is moving. So I really like the high ready when I'm like transitioning from the 180s. I find that pretty useful than this. I find like when my gun's attached like this, I have this kind of thing, even though it's down, it still feels like there's a pretty big mass swinging around. So when I bring it close, it's kind of like tucking in your legs when you're spinning on a chair. If you've ever done that as a kid, it makes you spin kind of faster. So that's the high ready. The last ready position that I'm kind of new to is called the combat low ready. And the combat low ready kind of combines both. So the combat low ready looks like this. So this ready is often done for when you're moving around door frames and in tight areas, much like low ready, and it can be used for kind of the similar purposes. However, it has some different uses. So a really great use for the combat low ready is you can still shoot someone from here. Unlike here, you can't really shoot anything but up. So if you're coming around, you can still shoot someone from there. So with the combat low ready, you bring the gun up and you punch it out like that, and you find your sights and then you fire. So I'm gonna try that. And you're able to bring the gun up pretty darn quick, especially if you're coming around a corner. Really big important thing, guys, is to practice breaking the gun from your shoulder. And that's what I see a lot of newer players don't do, is they think this is an extension of their body, which is fine, in some ways it is, but really practice breaking the gun from your shoulder, because that will allow you to be so much more versatile with your weapon. And think about when you're reloading, don't have it floating here or like out here, especially if you have a sling here, it kind of gets in the way. Try to bring it in, because when you're in here, you're nice and tight. You can get some pretty sweet reloads from in there. And it's just much easier to control it, because you basically can just rest like this, and I can hold this gun here like this all day. So that's one big takeaway from all of this, is just practice manipulating your weapon.